Okay, so welcome to Healing Restorative Yoga. Today we're going to start with a gentle heart opener. So if you want to take a blanket or even a bolster, just depending on how high you want, to elevate yourself, you're going to place that lengthwise on your mat underneath your back. You can have it rolled up, you can have it flat, whatever height feels best for your body. And then we'll put a bolster or something behind the knees. If you don't have a bolster, you can take a pillow or whatever you have in your house, or even a rolled up blanket. So go ahead and come onto your back, draping your legs over your bolster or blanket roll. And then bring the blanket right up to your sacrum so that your low back is supported. So make sure it's nice and close, and then lower your body down. You can let the legs kind of splay out a little bit. It'll help to create some opening into the hips and the low back. And then turn your palms upward. Now, if it feels like your head is kind of rolling off the back, everybody's anatomy is different. You can also take something to support the back of the head, like another blanket or towel or whatever you have available. And then just begin to allow the shoulder heads to begin to release, opening into the heart space. Close your eyes, softening your gaze behind your eyelids. Begin to feel the weight of your body being supported by the blanket, bolster, whatever props you have underneath you. Just there, rising up to meet you, providing you with the support that you need to feel as comfortable as possible. We're going to start with a few cleansing breaths. So inhale deeply into the nose, filling into the lungs, expand and inflate, and then exhale, release out an open mouth. Maybe even make an audible sigh to help just calm the body down, to let go of any tension or stress that you're holding on to unconsciously. Do that a few times. Inhale deeply, filling in, expanding, inflating the circumference of your rib cage all the way into the belly. And then exhaling out, releasing, opening the jaw to let all the breath go. With each breath, notice the body becoming heavier, more relaxed, releasing muscular tension in the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the hips, the low back. Wherever it is that you're feeling a sense of tightness or constriction, or maybe where you're feeling discomfort. Now begin to find a nice, slow, steady rhythm for your breath. We're going to bring it in parts though. So we're going to inhale, sip a little bit into the upper chest. Inhale a little more, sipping that breath into the fullness of the lungs. Sip a little bit more in, drawing it into the belly. And then take one more inhale to see if you can fill up even more. We're going to exhale like that too. So exhaling in parts through the belly, a little pause, the rib cage, pause, and then the chest, pause. And when you think you're done, exhale out even more breath in that fourth little pause. So almost imagine you're sipping it in through a straw. We're going to fill in from the top down, a little bit into each of those four sections at your own pace. And then as you exhale, exhaling from the bottom up in four parts. Continue to breathe like this for a few more rounds. But know at any point, if you want to release control of the breath, you are more than welcome to just find a natural rhythm for your own breath. So last week, I had the opportunity to go on a week-long RV trip with my family. I had never been on an RV trip before, and we got to experience so much nature during the course of the week. We visited Page, Arizona, and saw Horseshoe Bend and Lake Powell. We went up to Monument Valley, which I had never seen before. We went up to Bryce Canyon and Moab, and then made our way over to Zion and the North Rim, and then back to Flagstaff and home. And just being in that space of connecting with nature was so good for my spirit and for my soul. It allowed me to feel like I could breathe better. I felt healthier, more vibrant. I felt more spacious, more open. But I felt this connection to everyone and everything. Every single day, my eyes were open to things that were just awe-inspiring and glorious. And the reality is that we don't have to travel like that in order to appreciate nature and feel a connection to it. There's so many different lessons we can learn from nature wherever we are, whether we're observing a sunrise or a sunset, or watching the storm that rolled in last weekend, seeing a rainbow, watching and observing the clouds. All of these things help us to feel a connection to something larger than ourselves and remind us of how small we are and how nature continues to go on regardless of pandemics or social strife or political challenges or whatever it is that's going on in the world. We can observe nature and realize that there is something bigger at play. One of the first things that nature teaches us is presence. Nature can be nothing but present. We tend to live in the past or worry about the future, but nature is always present. Gretel Ehrlich said, everything in nature invites us constantly to be where we are. Everything in nature invites us constantly to be where we are. And so I want that to be an invitation right now. Maybe in your mind's eye, you call up a memory, recent or in the past, of a place that you were feeling that sense of presence and that sense of connection through nature. And allow yourself to just kind of fill up with that experience, expand into it. Smell it, taste it, feel it. Let it fill you. Continuing to keep your heart nice and open. With every breath, imagine you're breathing in fresh air, or maybe the smells of nature like pine trees or fresh rain. One of my favorite scents on the planet is the desert after a rainstorm, which we had the fortune to have on Friday for some of us. Just expand into that. Maybe smoothing out the breath here. I want to invite you to bring your right foot to the inside of your left near thigh. You can rest it on the bolster or the blanket roll, or feel free to move that out. And then you could even provide support for the underside of your right leg. Just allowing that knee to soften toward the floor as you begin to open into that right hip. Maybe you visualize a tall tree as we're laying here in this reclining tree position. Tall tree that is grounded and rooted deep, rising up into the sky, strong and vibrant. Maybe you visualize yourself as that tree. Continue to keep your breath flowing nice and deep and rhythmic. returning to this present moment by virtue of the breath. Another lesson from nature is that we have an opportunity for self-reflection and an understanding of things beyond ourselves. Albert Einstein said, "Look deep into nature, then you will understand everything better." Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Notice if you're gripping, holding on in the teeth, the shoulders, the jaw, the neck, or even into the head. Those areas are all connected to our fight or flight response. So notice if you can release the jaw, parting the lip, breathing out through an open mouth now, a letting go breath. Surrendering whatever it is that you're holding on to, stuff that you no longer need, that no longer serves you, or any areas of resistance or forcing. Just soften like melted butter. Slowly begin to extend that right leg back long, and then we'll bring the left foot to the inside of that right leg. Again, support however you need to. So if you prefer to not have something under the foot or knee, you may be just feeling grounded on your mat. Maybe in this breath, you're envisioning just filling yourself up, connecting to earth energy, that groundedness, that sense of feeling rooted, feeling like safe and secure and supported. And let every breath continue to enhance that feeling. Maybe you even adopt a mantra relating to something about being grounded or rooted, being secure and safe. Continue to breathe in through the nose, out an open mouth. Just making an exchange with every breath, drawing in what it is you need and desire, letting go whatever tension you're holding or whatever interferes in your ability to just feel that sense of groundedness. Notice that the shoulders are lifting up by the ears. Continue to soften them back down. Just expanding and inflating into the chest, the lungs, the rib cage. All the way into the belly. Slowly extend that leg back out. Just shift and move a little bit. Imagining that you're laying underneath a big expanse of sky, Maybe there's beautiful clouds above you. Maybe it's a gorgeous sunset. Maybe you can hear in your mind's eye a storm rolling in, like rolling thunder. Or maybe it's just sunny and you're taking in all those beautiful rays. We're going to slowly begin to press ourselves up, and we're going to switch up our posture a little bit. So move the bolster out from underneath you if it was underneath your knees, and we're going to place that underneath the back now. But you're going to create a little bit of an incline, so take a block or two underneath. All right. And then we're going to roll up 2 blankets for underneath our legs. So just take a couple blankets or a couple towels or whatever it is that you might have available. And you're going to nuzzle those in nice and close to your hips, bringing the soles of the feet together. Just allow both legs to open up now into a butterfly shape. So maybe in your mind's eye, you can begin to visualize some sweet little butterflies kissing your skin. Maybe it's a monarch or some other type of butterfly. Maybe you can even visualize in your mind's eye the colors. Remembering that butterflies are symbolic of transformation, of change, of going from one way of being to another. And each and every one of us are in the midst of transformation. Another thing that we can learn from nature is that nature is constantly changing, it's constantly moving, it's constantly transforming. Looking out into the vastness of a canyon like Bryce Canyon or the Grand Canyon, we see how just subtle movement of water, of wind, of earth can carve something absolutely stunning and beautiful. And it's through this constant change, this constant metamorphosis that canyon grows deeper and deeper and wider and more beautiful. And so it is with us. It's the constant change around us that carves out something new and different in each and every one of us. Through time, through seasons, through wind, through rain. We are constantly being transformed. So one of the things about transformation that takes place over time is it requires patience. Patience is something that we can also learn from nature. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." I'm sorry, actually Lao Tzu said that. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." Nature moves slowly, and sometimes not. Sometimes it's abrupt. But nature goes at its own pace. And so as we find our own rhythm and pace in life, a more natural pace, a more natural way of being, it enables us to develop, cultivate a sense of patience and acceptance. And what I love about restorative yoga is it's through this time, breath, and gravity that our body opens and changes. It's not through forcing, and it's not sudden or abrupt. It's over time. Our body slowly opens. Slowly begin to bring your knees back toward each other. And then gently toe heel your feet to the edges of your mat. You can move those little blanket rolls out of the way, taking the arms to the sides like wings, the palms facing up. Slowly begin to just move those knees from right to left, nice and slow. Imagine that they're like windshield wipers on their slowest steading without the pause in between. Unless you want to pause in between, feel free to do that. Just keep breathing here. Slowly make your way over to the right, and we're just going to gently press ourselves up. We're going to reorient our bolster so that it's going widthwise on the mat. And then you'll want to have a block handy for the head, and I would even encourage you to take a blanket over the block. I like to call that a blocket, so a block with a blanket over it, just to provide some support for the head. We're going to come on to our left side, and so the blanket will support the left underside of your rib cage, and then just bring your head back down. Now, options for the knees, you can stack the legs, you can place a blanket or a block between the thighs, you can stagger the legs, you can extend your top leg, or even scissor the legs. So just kind of see what feels best for your body. For me, I'm liking having my feet staggered in kind of that deer-legged position. Go with what feels best for your body. And then you're just going to have that left arm extended out in front of you. Place the right hand on top. So on Friday, many people I know, I did not get a glimpse of it. I got to see an incredible rainbow. So we're going to draw some rainbows today. On the inhale, we're going to reach that right arm away from the body. So stretch it first, create space in that shoulder joint. And then we're going to reach up and over. Maybe it touches the floor, maybe it doesn't, no big deal. On the exhale, stretch the fingertips away. Coming back up and over, tracing that rainbow. We're just going to keep moving like this with the breath. And exhaling, coming back over. Breathe as you move. Keep your jaw nice and soft. And then the next time you come up and over, we're going to just open up. So the chest will be open, arms extended out side to side. If this is too much of a stretch for that right shoulder, you can take your right hand and just place it on your hip and let the elbow rest on the bolster underneath you. But if it feels okay, maybe extend that arm all the way out. Taking a big twist here. Adjust your legs as you feel led. Remembering that twists help us have a different perspective, a different vantage point. And I'll tell you what, when you're looking out over something like the Grand Canyon or Bryce Canyon, or you're in Zion and things are so big, it makes us feel small. It makes our problems feel small. Helps to kind of shape things and put things into a different perspective. Think about how nature has no idea that there's a pandemic, that there's social or political strife taking place. It has no idea. It just carries on. And these too will pass. These things that we're experiencing, these storms will pass. And eventually we might get a beautiful rainbow, something beautiful that comes from after the storm. Keep breathing here. Something else that nature teaches us is to appreciate beauty. Andy Warhol, the artist, said land really is the best art. Land really is the best art. There's beauty all around us. We only need to look for it. Taking a few breaths more here, maybe in through the nose, out an open mouth. Just letting go, kind of bringing out our spine, digestive organs, detoxing the body by virtue of the breath, and this wringing out that takes place in a twist. I'm going to slowly roll to our backs and then make our way onto the right side. So supporting yourself with your props underneath you, settling back down, adjusting your legs as you feel like you would do to be as comfortable as supported as possible. Right arm is going to extend out from the body. Place your left hand on top. Make sure your head is supported. Extend the fingertips away from the body, get space in that shoulder joint, and then we're going to come up and around, just drawing a rainbow over our body. Exhaling, coming back up and over. Keep that breath moving, inhaling as you open up. And then exhaling as you close your hands back together. Stay connected to the breath, linking the breath and the movement. And then the next time you open up, we're going to just adjust so that left arm extends out, palms face up. Again, if it's too deep of a stretch into the left shoulder, just place your left hand on your hip bone, let your elbow rest on that bolster. Adjust your legs as you need to. Continue to breathe here. 70% of our toxins leave the body through the breath. So just let that breath flow freely, letting go those things that no longer serve you. Laura Ingalls said, if you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. Connect with your breath, softening into tissues of your body, just opening up, creating space. And in your mind's eye, just continuing to visualize nature in all its beauty and splendor. Slowly make your way back onto your right side. And we're gently going to press ourselves up. So come onto your knees for just a moment. We're just going to set ourselves up for our next posture. So go ahead and move the blanket out of the way. And move the block out of the way for the moment. And we're just going to have the bolster. I want you to stretch it out in front of you. So bring it near the front of the mat. Good. Now we're going to take a blanket for underneath the knees just to support the knees, just to create a little cushion. So even if you have a towel, you can fold up a towel and place that underneath. And then if you are healing in your knees and you need some additional support, you can take a blanket behind the knees so it's not quite so intense. And then feel free to take the knees wide, keeping those toes together, and then set your seat back toward your heels. Good. We're gonna walk those hands forward, but I want you to have it to where the edge of the blanket catches your forehead. And so you're gonna have a supported child's pose here, but then the head is supported by the edge of that bolster, but you can have room to breathe. Good, then just relax the arms. So those elbows are nice and bent, shoulders are soft, melting into the heart, melting into the belly, feeling gravity sink you a little bit deeper into the shape, but opening up the back body. The majority of our alveoli, or little lung oxygen receptors in our lungs, I should say, are in the back body, the majority of our lung tissue. So breathe into the back body. One of the other lessons that we learn from nature is our connection to not just nature, but to one another. William Shakespeare said, "One touch of nature makes the whole world kin." We are all connected. We all reside on the same planet. And in that, we are connected to one another. Feeling that connection, feeling that unity that we experience through nature. And we all breathe the same air. As you breathe now, really engage a diaphragmatic or belly breath, where you're feeling your whole belly fill up like a balloon, expanding and inflating to the front, to the sides, and to the back. And then as you exhale, just feel that softening as you release all of the breath, feeling your body just become heavier by virtue of gravity, softening and sinking toward the floor. Slowly begin to press yourself up. And then we'll bring those knees so they're directly underneath the hips, and then maybe tap the feet out a little bit just to get some circulation going back into the lower part of your legs and back into your feet. Good. With your hands on the bolster for some support, you can always drop onto the forearms as well if you're having, wrist or hand issues. But we're just going to begin to kind of tick-tock those hips side to side. If you don't want to tick-tock, you can always circle them, just see what feels best for your body. And maybe as you circle, you add a little back bend and then maybe a little rounding, alternating between those two, lifting the hips and then rounding the spine. Go in both directions. So reversing that if you like. Beautiful. And then we're going to come into tabletop, walk those hands forward, and then lower your rib cage down. So we have options here. You can come onto the forearms if you like, or you can stack the hands and bring your forehead to your hands. Or if you need some additional support to bring the floor closer to you, you can use a block or a block and a blanket over it. And so just see what works best for your body. You might be in Sphinx with the elbows underneath those shoulders and the fingers spanned wide, and then release your head. You can use your block at whatever level here. So you're taking tension out of the neck. So work with whatever feels most comfortable in your body. And then just relax. Let the heels kind of splay open. Pigeon-toeing those feet slightly. Softening, but feeling supported. Maybe you'll want to inhale through the nose and exhale out an open mouth. Little lion's breath. Make some noise. Stick your tongue out. Going to help open the throat chakra. But it also just helps us let go of tension and stress we're holding in the body and the jaw, the face. Another lesson from nature is the healing nature of nature. Nature helps us to find healing. Rachel Carson said there is something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature. The assurance that dawn comes after night, spring after winter. So something about the rhythms of nature, this repeated refrains of nature, is so healing. And it's also a reminder of the temporary nature of each of the seasons, of each of our days, and each of our breaths. We take somewhere between 33 and 35,000 breaths a day, and every one of them is an opportunity to renew, to restore, to refresh, and to let go of what was. Henry Nouwen said, "Be surprised by joy. Be surprised by the little flower that shows its beauty in the midst of a barren desert. And be surprised by the immense healing power that keeps bursting forth like springs of fresh water from the depth of our pain." Slowly begin to bring your hands alongside your rib cage, and we'll gently press ourselves back up. You can have the hands on the bolster, or you can move it out of the way. But make sure that the hands are fanned nice and wide and at least shoulder width distance apart. We're going to do a few cat-cows here. So inhale, lift the tail, press the navel down, slide your heart forward through the opening between your arms, and lift the crown. On the exhale, gently tuck the tail, draw that navel in, round your back, and bring your chin toward your chest. We're just going to continue to move like this with the rhythm of our breath. Inhaling, lifting the tail, opening the chest, lifting the crown. Exhaling, gently curling the tail, rounding the spine. Exhaling, letting go. Keep moving like this with your breath. Gentle, beautiful rhythm. Then we're going to come neutral with that spine. So coming back into tabletop, on the inhale, stretch and reach that right arm high. On the exhale, gently thread the needle, lowering down. Inhale, stretch and reach. On the exhale, thread the needle. The shoulder is below that bolster if you have a bolster underneath you. Good, and one more like this. And then we're going to thread that needle, take that hand all the way to the left, rest your right cheek and ear on that bolster, and then bend your left elbow and just rest your forearm on the bolster, softening into that shoulder. Now, if this is too much, too deep, you can always take one of your blanket rolls and create a little bit of support for the right shoulder. So it won't be quite as intense. Let's see what works best for your body. You might choose to tuck your toes under while you're here, just opening the bottoms of the feet too. I'm not going to stay here super long because it is a pretty deep stretch into that shoulder. So maybe just 3 to 5 long breaths. And slowly press into your left forearm to rise up. We'll place that right hand on the bolster if you're using a bolster. Inhale, left hand will come high. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, stretching and reaching. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, stretch and reach. And then exhale, gently stretch that arm over to the right, lowering down onto the left ear. And then again, bend into your right elbow, just resting your forearm on the bolster or on the floor. Breathing here. Another lesson from nature is the way in which it can help us to feel a sense of rejuvenation, but also a sense of inner calm. April Peerless said, "In my walk with nature, an inner calm comes over me. It's God's gift for my rejuvenation. So God, the divine, the universe, however you define it. In my walk with nature, that inner calm washes over me and provides us with that sense of rejuvenation, filling back up, restoring and renewing our spirit. A few more deep breaths here. Feeling that opening into the back and into back side of your shoulder. Gently press into that right forearm. And then we're going to slowly come back up again. Just swing the legs to one side and slowly come onto your hips. We'll move any props out from underneath if you want to, or you can keep it for a cushion for the seat. And then we're going to set ourselves up for a final rest position. Now, this is completely up to you. If you want to do another heart opener, we're going to keep that bolster going widthwise on the mat. And then create a block and a blanket for support for the head here, allowing the shoulders to be above that so that the shoulders really open up, and then extend the legs out long. Now, if you prefer to be flat on your mat and then support the backs of the knees, feel free to do that. Or maybe you have your feet on the floor with the knees bent. Maybe there's some other shape that's calling to you in this moment. Just find your way into the final rest position of your choice. Shift and move to be as comfortable as you can. John Burroughs said, "I go to nature to be soothed and healed, and to have my senses put in order." So now, for the final moments of our class, we're going to do a peaceful place meditation, allowing ourselves to be soothed, to be healed, to feel that sense of inner calm and rejuvenation. So closing your eyes, settle in a little deeper into the shape that you've chosen. And I'm going to guide you on a journey. In your mind's eye, visualize the scenes as I guide you through them. Begin to create a picture in your mind of a place where you can completely relax. Imagine what this place needs to be like in order for you to feel calm and relaxed. Start with the physical layout of the place that you're imagining. Where is this peaceful place? Envision somewhere outdoors. It might be a small place or a large one. Maybe a place that you've visited before, or one that you've created in your imagination. Or a place that you've seen on television or in pictures. Create an image of this place in your mind. Now, add some additional detail to this image that you're creating. Are you alone? Or perhaps you're with somebody else? Who is there with you? Are there animals or birds or other creatures or critters? Imagine who is there in your peaceful place. Create an image in your mind. Now imagine even more detail about your surroundings. Focus on the relaxing sounds around you in your peaceful place. Perhaps there are sounds of water or wind. Focus on these relaxing sounds. Allow them to create a sense of relaxation in your body and in your mind. Now imagine any smells that your place has to offer. Perhaps it's the smell of the ocean or a pine forest, smell of the rain, or any other smell that your place has to offer. Now imagine the sensation of touch, including the temperature, any breeze that might be present, the surface that you're on. Maybe there's sand under your feet or water touching your skin. Imagine the details of this calming place in your mind. Focus now on the sights of your place, colors, shapes, objects, plants, anything that makes your place enjoyable to you. To add further detail to your peaceful place, imagine yourself there. What would you be doing? Perhaps you're just sitting, enjoying this place, relaxing. Maybe you're out walking around or exploring, or maybe you're doing any other activity that you enjoy. Picture yourself in this peaceful place and imagine a feeling of calm, of peace, washing over you. Here you have no worries, cares, or concerns. You can simply relax, rejuvenate, and enjoy just being. In these final moments, memorize the sights, the sounds, and the sensations around you. Create a container around what you're feeling in this moment. Know that you can return to this place in your mind whenever you need a break. You can take a mental vacation and allow yourself to relax before returning to your regular roles and responsibilities. In these last few moments of relaxation, create a picture in your mind that you will relax the next time you need a quick relaxation break. Continue to picture yourself in this peaceful place. The moment that you're imagining right now, you can create again and again and again. When you're ready to return to your day, you can file away this imaginary place in your mind. Know that it's waiting for you the next time you need it. As you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend into the knees and perhaps roll to one side of your body. Or just stay where you are if you'd like to remain in your peaceful place longer. As you're ready, begin to press yourself up to a seated position if you're ready. Taking your time. As you find a seated position, create a little lotus flower with your hands by bringing your hands together, but then opening your fingers with the exception of your index fingers and thumbs. And then just rest that at your heart center. Or if there's some other mudra that you prefer, feel free. Maybe just picture this beautiful lotus flower at your heart center, just opening, receiving light, receiving love, feeling a connection to all that is. Gently bring your hands back together into prayer mudra, where the joining of opposites heals all opposites. Taking a few breaths here, just sealing your practice through your connection to this breath. The one who is healed by nature in me sees and honors the one who is healed by nature. Namaste, my friends.